There we go. So I think you guys missed Bark because I didn't notice I was disconnecting. Yeah, I think you guys missed Bark. Sorry. Why does that happen? So why do Gloop's attacks sometimes just become, like, unavoidable? Like, their hitboxes just disappear. Because that's what just happened there. And then I missed that. Ugh. Hey, Gen Boy, how you doing? Oh, well, I get to go in with full ammo now, at least. See, like that shit. It just decided it couldn't be hit. Just that job interview went well. Ooh, let's go. How's you? Very annoyed at my internet connection. Other than that, tired, stressed out. But Wonderlands is fun, so I have that. And for this, we just do this. Tired, stress in general, something bad happened. Just life stuff. Just generalized. 15 minutes on the dot. I was going for sub 15 and didn't get that. Personally, I'd be able to for the harsh scaling dependence and slag that hard, haven't touched in years. I just don't like the design of endgame of that game in general. Not for me. But that's okay. Not everything is for everyone. It's really struggling to stay connected. So, like, when my connection gets like this, I have to enable the OBS setting that makes it so it'll just throttle my bitrate instead of dropping frames, just so it doesn't get really bad. But it had me down to 600. No YouTube maker made easy? What do you mean? Struggling to stay connected. I can relate. Yeah, it keeps bouncing down to 800. Like, it starts to stabilize, and it's like, nope, 800, 600, 800. Starts to go back up again. It's a decent amnesia. Especially that class combo. Grave Spore is a really nice combo for armor, Grave Primary, because more points in Thralls increases, or more points in Hydra, excuse me, increases the cap of Hydras you can have out, which means more Thralls, more Stampede if you're running that, but obviously with an Amnesia you're not, but it does mean more Thralls. So, like, you could run a setup with Grave Capstone, and that ensures that every time you cast a spell on top of every kill, you have a chance to get a Hydra. It's still a chance, it's only 60% chance, but with that you could feasibly hit, you know, your Hydra cap. You're never gonna really hit the cap in any practical sense on a setup without Graveborn Capstone because you're just going through a chance and there's not enough enemies. And try prog play the angles? Yes. How you kill her so quick? Because melee is really good in this game. It's because melee is really good. Alright, I'm gonna run in the bathroom real quick and also run a speed test and see how bad my internet's shitting itself. Here, you can look at this Frostburn for a minute. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. I grabbed a granola bar too.
Are you prepared?
Do one more run of this, then go back to science and other stuff. Oh. Redo that. For Deadshot optimization of the laser hands at C100, What would perfect passes on armor be? Area damage, move speed, all damage. And if you care about damage, then yeah, send it last rights. I think I have another ascended one somewhere. Then the move speed isn't really necessary. The move speed's comfortable. But like if you're just trying to make the laser hand pew pew harder, then area damage, all damage, spell damage.
Enter if you dare. But seriously, you should dare.
Try to last rights in C100. I haven't played a gun build at C100 yet. Been having too much fun with melee. Unless you count this as a gun build. But I'm doing enough melee stuff on the side, and like, it's a hybrid at best. Gun builds? Yeah, that's the thing that people do, apparently, Lazy. It's weird. I don't know why you do it. I don't know, hammer and hammer that I throw? Exactly. How you doing, Craft Knight? Laser hand benefits from area damage. Almost all spells do, Jamboy. Almost all spells in the game. The only spell I can think of off the top of my head that doesn't is Cloudburst Arc Torrents. I'm sure there's a couple other exceptions, but it generally just assume a spell gets area damage. Thinking move speed because laser hand's slow to help with moving to and from enemies. Spell damage would be missed that much. It wouldn't be. Move speed would definitely be something I would use more. Just if you were trying to maximize the laser hand itself. Movement speed wouldn't do anything unless you were running an amnesia, is all. But in terms of quality of life and game flow in general, yeah, move speed's the play. Almost down myself. Spicy water. So noticeable when I start a new character, I don't have myth rank move speed. Yeah. That is a big thing I miss during playthroughs. Use Golden Pickaxe for move speed on my dead shot. Has Echo so I can one-tap enemies too. Yeah, having an Echo melee weapon in general is just pretty good for non-melee builds. And Pickaxe is one that would provide you some benefit. So, good choice. Finally hit C100 last night with my melee build. Melee certainly seems the most fun way to do the higher difficulties. Melee is just my preferred way of playing this game. It's just such a good time. Oh. Attention span. Rip speedrun. This wasn't a particularly good one anyway. Remember launch when there were people screaming, begging, crying for melee buffs? And then they didn't do that? And now at C100, melee is the go-to? Funny how that worked out. No, fuck you, Gloop. Do it on another run. That is 100% on me just being slightly annoyed and impatient. It's a much better Solicit kill that time. I think maybe From the Shadows as I go up the lift is the play there. It'll always be available since I'll have taken my time with the last room. So no Maker this run, but I can at least practice these. There we go. That's a good bunny kill. Cyber primary back at cast 35, which I want to make into a melee build, which second class would be best. Likely Berserker for overall general having access to the most kinds of melee builds. Like, introducing Berserker would let you have Dreadwind on the table. It would be optimal for swinging your melee weapon for damage dealing. Also gives you a lot of tank, which is something that people tend to neglect on melee builds. That was 1120 without Gloop. So that could have been the run if I had done Gloop well. Or at all. And Maker is only like 15 seconds or something on this build. That bodes well. Blight Caller's an option. I think Blight Caller's is worse at melee in general than Berserker in practicality. Like, it can hit higher damage ceilings with certain snowballing interactions, but in terms of practicality, it's just not as good. You can do Clawbringer if you want to do the hammer action skills, which I'll do some hammer throwing. Lazy brought it up, and I found an excuse to circle around to that. Let's do the boss damage. Combination of Xe Blade and Stab-O-Matic. But it's an alchemical agent setup, so like during FTS, the tasers and the frostburns are all going to trigger Xe Blade as close to its internal cooldown as possible. And then we have alchemical agent and contagion, and status damage for that. And then shooting the Stab-O-Matic is just more melee damage. Alchemical agent, contagion. Snake Stick is doing melee as well, so it's another outlet. On Bark, it's just all of that happening while Bark is also being hit by its melee weak spots. So that's why Bark is so fast. And on the Maker, it's just Salt and Battery with all that crit damage and Alchemical Agent.
Think you can make it?
Do some hammer throwing on boss runs. Out on armor, switch a W. Yeah, all armor is amazing. Big fan of that. Hey Kingman, how you doing? Wondering what would be considered really good gluttony? One with high chaos tier and high damage. Biggest damage armor you can find. Yeah, like, it's not one of those guns that you have a real case for going for anything other than big number. Oh. Well, I don't think I lose a life. Or your hammer, not your schlong. Enemies can't handle it. I prefer times 1 over times 2 in general play, as do I, because you're just... Your ammo is lasting longer, it's more controllable, and any of your procs of value are just going to be higher damage. So, like, sure, you could theoretically get more, play the angles, Geist in the Shell, that kind of stuff, by having a times 2, but they'll just hit harder with the times 1. Goodbye, Pigwort. Protagonizer, but it's spell shot power. Like, that's frustrating. Powerful skeet. Ah, good drill. I love how Tooth Raider has just carved out its own area. Like, it's just a top tier item. And lets you do stuff like that. I think Tooth Raider is one of the most efficient debuff sources we've had in a lands game ever. Because you fully stack it in 3 shots. And that's 5% debuff per crossbolt. 125% more damage for 3 shots. But Trimmer, Slag can eat my ass. Bitten off quite a niche. Nice, Jaybridge. High five for that one. 9 in contagion right now. That's fun. Consistency like that is pretty addictive. The Eruption debuff from BL3 decent too. Yes, but Eruption's biggest problems were its uses. Like its use, ease of use. That's the term I'm looking for. You had to break it, keep it broken, and then the projectiles you had to be in an area where they could properly home, which was not all maps. They were capable of doing self-damage, so you could die from it. They had to home in on the right enemy. And the duration is pretty limited. It's very good if you could use it. It's just harder to use than just switch to Tooth Raider, click button 3 times, switch back to this, throw hammer, enemy dead. Do need to get a Tooth Raider. Fortunately, what Tooth Raider you have doesn't really matter. This is a volatile. I didn't even know I had an enchant on this one. You can just use even the one you get while leveling. So, like, if you start a new playthrough on a melee character and you just do the quest at, like, level 15 or whatever, just keep that one. There are 0 downsides to just using that one. It will still do everything it's good for. It'll apply those crossbolts. The enchant won't actually be weaker, which is something we recently noticed. It'll trigger Blade and won't affect the damage of that. It'll have the same crit multiplier. No downsides. What's the quest you get it from? Cast for Teeth is the name? Yeah. It's the Tooth Fairy one in Weep Wild Dankness. Do the teeth barber load? They can, yeah. You can barber load with this. Too amped up on an Amnesia is really good. Forgot I need melee weapons for the Blood of the Fallen Dreadwind. Need Banshees in... I need a fire one. Ascended high damage fire Banshee. I think that's the next goal. Ascended Twin Soul can break 1k. That's good for it. I suppose a great sword would also do. Oh, I haven't done it yet. The downside of Tooth Raider in the vendor is that it's extremely expensive. If anything, if you're going for a Tooth Raider, just do it on a lower level character. It might even be worth doing a playthrough again to that point, or go to one of your low characters that hasn't done the quest, because an Ascended Tooth Raider in the vendor is like 115 mil or something crazy. It's actually just So expensive. Like, a Last Rites is 12 mil. Tootherator, add 100 to that. I don't know why. I guess snipers are just expensive. Some Ghostblade stuff. Think it acts like a antique great bow in pricing? Maybe. That'd be a good explanation. Has anyone ever gotten an ascended great bow in a vendor? Also, nice Zelda quote. Around 158 mil? That's crazy. That is a number. Can't compare Chad Tootherator to a lowly shotgun. Yeah, that is a lot of gold. Got an Ascended Carouser with the Spore Barrage enchant, also it's max damage, I think. That's cool. What's the crit multiplier? Carouser can get up to 33. Generally, that's the one we're going for these days. 33% crit Carousers. Ghostblade moment. The Sigma Ghostblade grind set. Waster didn't even get to move. Love to see it. 21? That's the second best roll. That's good. $330. I feel like that's a high roll for rubies. Anyone encountered a crash when one of those occurs when you swap characters? Consistent? Huh, I've not had that personally.
Waiting was so awful.
How's 330 for a rubies? Does it always get the melee damage part? $330, $340? Okay. Because if it doesn't always get the melee damage part, then that's definitely not max. Or probably not max, I shouldn't say definitely. $339, $341? Okay. Ascended Mood Ring. It tried. 365? Nice. Didn't know they could go that high. Real open for half price enchant reroll soon. Expensive trying to get Dreadwind enchants. Something you can do is higher chaos tiers are giving higher chaos levels are giving more moon orbs now, but you can still get pretty fast boss runs. For example, you can still get a boss run in like around 5 minutes. But now at high chaos levels, it's just your entire moon orb capacity, so you can just fill up in 5 minutes and then roll 4 times and then do another 5-minute run. It's pretty good. Bye, Redmorn.
Now.
So Climate, I've been doing boss runs. So the biggest source of moon orbs in the game is this chest right here. So I'm capped right now, so I can't really tell, but this chest right here, see all those poppy seed looking things, those are all moon orbs. And the big bundles of 3 together, or I guess that's 4 together. Yeah, it's 4 together. The big bundles of those are a lot of moon orbs each. So boss runs are the fastest way. There's a 347. Yeah, I can drop this one. Boss runs are the fastest way to just get that chest open. Claw Stab or Brutal Stampede. So, like, could I feasibly run a Frostburn here on the hammer build? Or I could even run that on this one. Just apply the tech of using a multi-charge Frostburn to get 3 or 6 stacks on demand of Stampede. Yeah, I think I'll pick that up. I want to apply that to more builds. Hey, Snowspawn, how you doing? That's a good comma. 19% crit chance, 140 crit damage, echo, poison. That's good enough to pick up, honestly. It's not a pickaxe, but it's something. Pincushion gets decent base damage for a bonk. But, like, it's still shit. Pincushion is one of those that if its effect was one of the universally applicable ones, not just melee attack, that probably wouldn't be unbalanced. Like, melee damage explodes on hit, dealing 15% weapon damage per crossbow attached. That'd probably be fair, honestly, but because it works the way it does, Pincushion is just... Let's call it not the best. Banshee tried. It's max crit chance, but no health mod. So 1.94 swing. Soul that still broke 1,000. How good would this be for Ghostblade? A little less crit damage, a little less crit chance, but a lot more swing speed, a little more base damage. Maybe I'll try out Twin Soul for Ghostblade. Because I could run, like, Ancient Warrior. I'd run, like, Ancient Warrior. It's an 18, 125. I'll try a thing. Concussion looks shit. Yeah, crossbolts cap out at 25, so you can't even stack up enough crossbolts to really get it to a point where it does damage. It's a bit sad. And then its stats are like the base damage is fine, but it's got low swing speed and bad crit stat spread. So been making some headway with my Black Ops 3 Transit remake project. Very nice. Love Transit. Okay, so this has now got the appropriate enchant and element. What's our crit chance at with this? Lower, a lot lower. 4% lower base is significant. But I can just switch from this into this, and I think that's enough. We'll see.
Think you can make it?
I didn't change the health mods. Actually. Let's fix that. Oh yeah, this save is my attempt at doing Wyvern stuff at C100. It did not go well. It did not go well at all. If you're curious about that. Like, perfect gear, no restrictions, Wyvern still kind of shit at C100. Class feat companions could maybe use a little bit of love for the higher difficulties. I'll try Warrior Vampire here, see how that works out.
Nice to meet you. No.
So what's my crit chance out? 95. I think I have some in attunement. Let's respec.
Death on demand. No need to thank me. The perfect death-bringing outfit.
Come on, have some. Prepare to be boarded.
I don't know what you're referring to, Snowspawn. Oh, that's enough. Okay, so it just requires having Ghostblade Enchant and Frostbite active for that. Do I put more anyway, though? Hey, Ewok, thank you for the 5 months. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Quagsire, Quagsir to you as well.
She's
Do
just
that.
a girl and she's on fire. There you go, Quag.
Quagsire Quag SIR.
Death everywhere. Finally, a sign.
So with his Vampire Hilt, I think that also puts him in a position where I'd be more comfortable using, an Amnesia. Probably modifications programs. I don't think it's realistic to ever expect dev or publisher to be like, yeah, sure, do it. It's one of those things like exercise discretion. But I don't expect to ever hear anything officially on that. I'll limit my answer to that. I'll expand on it further. Don't expect me to ever do it on, like, a sponsored stream. Let's put it that way.
Have a slice.
Come on, Connection, you can do it. Makes sense. There's enough to do in game right now that I'm not really feeling the urge to mess around with mods that much. But as we get more well established in like C100 and maybe want to push difficulty even further, that'll be one of the things I see myself using. Just like uncapping chaos. The urge, yeah. I have the urge to surge. Someone needs to make the every enemy is Pigwort mod. I'm so down for that. Every single enemy is Pigwort. Then you just get boss health Pigwort for the bosses. But then for the aspect bosses, you actually fight the aspect bosses, but all the ads are Pigwort. So like Barkenstein just has a bunch of Pigworts running around. Gloop spawns a bunch of Pigworts around the objective. Bunny has Pigworts out in the desert. And then the Maker just barfs out Pigworts. Bernadette is flying Pigwort. I love it. Dragonlord just spawns a stampede of Pigworts. Aw, just barely missed the face skip. Sounds like agony, count me in. I love and hate Pigwort. I like Pigwort for being a properly threatening named enemy. Like, Pigwort is a threat. I like Pigwort and Freezicles a lot for that, because they're mini-bosses that deserve the title of mini-boss. No one's gonna look at Taskmaster and be like, uh-oh, we're the opponent. Uh-uh.
Seriously? I was just getting started. Yes.
Before your dragon lord. wanted to meet Bernadette. Your skeleton will join my army. Sewage cleaning duty for 1,000 years. Casting spells when you were just a wiggle in your daddy's sleep. I am invincible! Multi-classic, dumbass.
Do they have to give him so many resistances? Yes. For a Hammerzerker, Pigwort's one of the few enemies that makes me pause to think before I start attacking. And I think that's good design. Like, Pigwort is one of those that I'm like, huh, alright, I need to actually play defensively. And Pigwort promotes certain approaches to dealing damage. Even situational weapon swaps. Like, if you are playing a gun build, Rain of Arrows is amazing for Pigwort. Dot builds can continue to do damage during the phase changes, because Pigwort will be immune to direct damage, but not dots. Gold loot Pigwort discuss? What do you mean? Oh, like a loot enemy? Bad news, Square Enix's Final Fantasy VII Battle Royale is being shot down. They have a Final Fantasy VII Battle Royale? Huh. Waiting for the good news. Ascended White Rider. 450 damage seems middling. Times 1 as well. Pigwort's a better design than most bosses. Yes. So Twin Soul felt good there. It's definitely a damage down from the pickaxe on the crit side, but the swing speed means more actual ticks. So like with Ghostblade, having a faster swing speed weapon just gets you more instances of damage per duration. Which means you get penalized less for moving it with a faster melee weapon. So you can just bounce it between targets more efficiently. Because if you're using, say, a Banshee or something slow, it'll rotate slow enough that you don't actually get the full ticks. So that's something. I like that quite a bit. Let me try, instead of that melee crit damage and action skill duration, let me try a Demon Blade there. So a few months to play it, and yeah, fucking apparently they have FF7 Battle Royale. Think Fortnite, but with swords and chocobos instead of just guns and cars. You created a character, joined with outfits worn by serious faves like Cloud Strife and Tifa Lockhart, then Skydived in various Midgard maps with other 74 other players be the last soldier. That sounds sick. Honestly, I'm surprised that got canceled based on that description. That does sound like something people would enjoy. Like, battle royales aren't really my genre, and I've never been a Final Fantasy guy. But, like, that sounds interesting. It sounds like it's got a lot of personality. Maybe the decision was that it's just gonna be panned as a Fortnite clone. But, I don't know. The weird choice. Isn't Great Axe more favorite for Ghostblade? It depends, Mango. Great Axe has very high DPS overall because it's got a high crit damage with a high base damage, but the crit chance and the attack speed are middling. So it really depends on what school of thought you're focusing on. Currently, I've been messing around a lot with high crit chance setups, and Great Axe is not one of the weapons that you are feasibly going to get to 100% crit chance. It's just not feasibly going to happen. It's possible, but it's not feasible. Whereas things in the high double digits, such as Twin Soul, Pickaxe, Rage Handle, those are the ones that are going to be able to get to that 100% crit chance mark. Ancient Warrior Twin Soul looks sweet, though, not going to lie. Yeah, maybe Ancient Warrior. I'll try that out next. I also do want to try Amnesia, because if I'm moving around to swing that Twin Soul, I'm not going to get too much out of Diamond Gauntlets. Stick a BR into a game that caters to single player, my guess it just wasn't popular. Well, the thing with that, Jaybridge, is Fortnite used to be not a BR. It used to be PvE. And they stuck a BR into it, and it was so successful that it ate the game they stuck it into. Like, that game no longer exists. Save the World no longer exists. $1 million downloads? Wow. Why didn't we hear about that? With the 19140 pickaxe, however, and Ghostblade check at 94% melee. Very nice. I'd say any melee weapon with a 17 or higher percent crit chance is in the territory of comfortable to get to 100% crit chance. You can get to 100% with... I've gotten there as low as with a 10%, but it requires more and more unrealistic investment to get there. And at that point, you're losing too many other things of value, in my opinion. Hey, that's the blank slate. It's not Ascended, but that's like the optimal damage dealing blank slate. Ability level +2, 40 all damage. Another Brutal Stampede. This one's gun damage, crit damage. That's the Stab-O-Matic roll. Or, that's crit chance. Never mind. Wait, that's still good, though. Because if I ran this with, 2-charge Frostburn, then almost 7% crit chance per companion. I could have 6 companions, 7 with the Wyvern. So I could have 49% crit chance just from the Stampede. That's Diamond Gauntlets level. That is Diamond Gauntlets level. I could totally apply that to this build. I would want Stabbo Primary. Is that a thing for Stampede? Or does it always roll, Pet Class Primary? I think it's always Pet Class Primary. Is it? I'm doubting that now. That is all? Yeah. It's 12% true crit chance right there. Yeah. That's a lot of crit chance. Stampede's such a crazy armor. I think I need to roll the armor bunny more and get more good ones. I was gonna try out Ancient. Alright, Warrior Ancient. Which one is Ancient? Ancient is 3. That's not the right button. Plus 2 skill level if you into the very short fuse skills. Yes, but keep in mind, it's just ability damage and ability crit chance. Blast Chill, Blast Gasp, Spore Fuse, none of those can crit. So the crit chance would be wasted on those. And then you need to keep in mind that all of those things also get class power. Blank Slate does not roll class power. If Blank Slate could roll class power, it would still have value. But it was a fringe thing at C20, and because the passes don't scale up with tiers, and it doesn't roll class power at all, it's not useful beyond leveling. Why do they do that in games with crit chance, hiding the crit chance? What do you mean? They don't hide the crit chance of anything in this game. There's only 5 things in this game that can't crit. Blast Chill, Blast Gasp, Spore Fuse, Mosquito Mantle, and Spirit Swarm. It's the only 5 things that can't crit. Everything else can crit. Some things don't, because their crit chance is going off of the ones that are on the lower end. Like, if something is going off of companion crit chance, it's not going to happen often. Like, that's why you don't see Demi-Lich crits very often, for example. Because it doesn't hit often, and it has a low crit chance. And none of those need to crit, right, Moveface? Running Frost Shiver melee build, any recommendations for melee? Using Salt and Battery, doing murder 1,000 damage. I mean, Salt and Battery is going to do very well there. Wailing Banshee would also do very well. Depending on how you gear, you could make Spellblade also do very well, still, for actually swinging your melee weapon. If you were doing an action skill-based melee, such as Ghostblade or Dreadwind, there'd be even more gearing options. But generally, Salt and Battery and Banshee are considered the peak of that. Using Smart Armor? Well, my first recommendation would be not to do that. Smart Armor does absolutely nothing of value for that build. Outside of From the Shadows, it is gutting your crit chance. Inside of From the Shadows, it is providing minimal increase to damage. To the point where wearing an Amalgam boosts you more without the downside. And there's armors that are providing you a lot more damage than the Amalgam. So I got Warrior Ancient now. I don't need that live wire. Amnesia goes zoom, zoom, zoom. Yeah, Amnesia is a terrifying choice. Yeah, I'll have to try out Brutal Stampede on the Hammer Throw build, because that seems very promising. Because I could grab crit chance and crit damage there. Or I could grab melee damage and crit chance. and always have at least one. Yeah. Referring to the crit percentage numbers on gear, the actual true crit chance, no, they're part of the formula, and they're not hiding the chances there, Jamboy. The way it works is with, so let's look at spells, for example. This Fortifying Sigil lists a 0% crit chance. That is not saying it crits 0% of the time. It's saying this is the number that gets added to your global base. Everything in this game that is capable of critting, other than those 5 things I listed, has a base crit chance of 5. You can see when you look in your menu here, it says base critical hit chance 5%. They all go through that 5%. Whenever you hit, you have a 5% chance of hitting a crit. Now, any boosts you have will go off of your sort of starting crit chance, which is that base plus any cards that are relevant. So, for example, this spell has 0%, but this one has 4%. So my base crit chance after card for this Dazzler is 9%. It's the listed 4 plus the global base that applies to everything of 5, meaning you get that 9%, and then your crit chance boosts from gear and everywhere else start factoring in. So if you have 100% crit chance from gear and skill tree, totaled up to 100, and you have that base of 9, well, that's 9% crit chance. So your final crit chance is 18. But if you have something like this Splintering Ice Spike, which has a base of 42%, we'll add that to your base of 5. You're starting at a base of 47% crit chance. So if you have the same gear, the same skill tree that gives you 100% spell crit chance, it's not giving you 9% like it is with the other spell. It's giving you 47%. So you're at 94% final crit chance with this spell. And spells and melee both act this way because spells and melee are the slots that have crit chance values on the card that add to your base. So that is why you see so many setups that are like, yeah, we're getting to 100% crit chance overall for this. And you see that most with melee. You see it with ice spikes. Laser hand just innately has 100% crit chance if you charge it up. So that's a different story. But for the case of spells and melee, add the crit chance listed to add 5 to that. And then start factoring your crit boosts. It's not hidden, it's just part of a formula. It's been mad when some spells leave you a 200% crit chance, but hey, why not? Yeah, ice spikes get up there. For sure.
Phantom Blade.
Buffmeister has a base of 100 for its Nova.
Gotta keep living to keep going.
So that one gets to some pretty crazy numbers. I've had setups that are hanging out in the 300% range with that spell equipped. Imagine overcrits. I think that's a mechanic I'd like to see implemented. Because then that would add an extra layer to, like... If you had something like Shadow Step active, Fatemaker's next melee attack is a guaranteed critical hit for a short duration, well, you could still benefit from having crit chance with that. So, like, if you... Like, in this setup, for example, my crit chance right now, with only some of my buffs active, is 74.8. But if I had a Shadow Step active, then I would just have that 74% chance to double crit. I think that'd be cool. Damage Sorcerer Hits and Spellblade, melee. They corrected the Spellblade's card. It no longer says its spell instead of melee, which is never how it worked, but they corrected the error. And they also made it so now it just applies to melee attacks. So Spellblade on the card is now like 99% accurate. That 1% is the fact that it's not technically spell damage boosting your melee, but spell damage being looked at to apply to the conditional category. But the way they word it is no longer incorrect.
Got to call me again.
I think you can get triple crit chance on a Splintering Ice Spike. It's a base of... What is the base for purple? Because the blue's slightly lower. I'll have to look into that. But I want to see how high of a base you can have. Because this 2 crit chance part 1 is 42%.
Time to put armored up. Hate fighting for life.
Greed overcrits would be a very interesting mechanic in game. Tons of things have to be rebalanced. Thought of it, or it'd be a bit too confusing. People not already familiar with the concept. Well, that's why it'd be something implemented into like a future game, not an existing one. And remember, if you put out enough sequels in a series without innovating on the core mechanics, then you end up becoming Call of Duty, where each subsequent new title you release is more poorly received than the last. Because they're fundamentally the same game, but slightly shittier. The COD just come out? Yeah. Modern Warfare 2 is out now, isn't it? Modern Warfare 2, I should say.
What have you done?
Optimal pick here is probably Caustic Warrior, huh?
Give me something to cast at this instant.
Modern Warfare 2? Yeah, there was a Call of Duty game called Modern Warfare 2 that came out in 2009. And they released a game called Modern Warfare 2, that's a Call of Duty game, in 2022. Because they're so unoriginal that not only is their gameplay stagnant, but their titles are stagnant. Warzone had so much potential they monetize it to death. It's not dead though. You might not care for what they've done with it, Moveface, but Warzone is still one of the most popular things in FPS gaming right now. Has been for years. Morning, Thumb. How you doing? I don't care for it either. Warzone's not my speed. Like, it's not even my favorite of the COD BRs. Like, I thought Blackout was underrated. COD Black Ops 4's Battle Royale, I enjoyed that more than Warzone. But, like, Warzone's popular. Same shit as with Battlefield and Star Wars Battlefront games. Battlefront 2, way into its life, got a lot better. But it was never unpopular. It was panned for being very anti-consumer, but it was never actually unpopular. So, yeah, good thing to bring up. Warzone makes around 1.9 billion a year. Sounds right. Yeah, Warzone's insanely profitable. It's not even re-released or remastered. No, it's just a new game. They rebooted the Modern Warfare section of the COD IP in 2019. And this is a sequel to that, and they're just using the same names again. It'd be like if God of War Ragnarok had just called itself God of War 2. Like, we already have God of War 2004 and God of War 2018, but at least the sequel to the reboot is now named something different. They didn't do that with Call of Duty. They're just like, here you go. Huge Star Wars fanboy, and Battlefront 2 is not even on my radar because of how shit Battlefront 1 was. All window dressing, no substance. Yeah, and that is... It especially hurts because classic Battlefront 1 and 2 were very well received and beloved games. I have very fond childhood memories of both of those games. And the first Battlefront did not live up. The second one didn't immediately, but it eventually did. Ragnarok exactly 4 weeks. Time is crazy. Time is interesting. Wish Feral Surge was good. You can make it work, Mango. It's just you need to either accept that it is only a gap closer or accept that it is only a finisher. You can't really do more with it than that. Because it doesn't have the damage to be a solo killing tool. And if you invest the damage into it, it's still not going to be good enough at that, but then everything else you do gets weaker as well. You can still use it for some fun utility and mobility stuff, but, like, it is not going to be a primary tool in its current state, ever. Played so much original Battlefront 2 couch co-op. Me too. Me too. I did that with God of War 2018, but just calling God of War, it was so clearly a different game. It's not confusing. It's still mildly confusing. Like, I don't like reboots doing that. Like Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis to Resident Evil 3 is less confusing. But Resident Evil 2 had no subtitles, so it's like, oh, which Resident Evil 2 do you mean? God of War doing that? I don't like when they reboot and then use the same name. I would prefer it's called something different. But at least with God of War, the sequel is now called something different. Anything about Steel Rising? I've not heard anything in a bit. I watched some streams of it a couple weeks ago, but I've not heard anything more about it. It looked fun. We're gonna try some stuff out on the hammer build now. RE remakes are actually super good though. Play out RE3 yesterday, beat it in 5 hours, super fun. See, a lot of people don't like RE3 remake for how content light it is. I enjoyed it a lot. It's one of the first games in a few years that I bothered to like 100% all collectibles, all achievements, everything. Didn't take me that long to do it, but I enjoyed my time doing it. RE2 remake was generally very well received though. RE3 is more of an ambiguous thing. Like the hardcore Resident Evil community doesn't seem to like it much because it cut out a lot of content from the original game. But I still enjoy it. What do you think of Fallen Order? I was ultimately disappointed with it. Really, I loved Fallen Order. Gotta go for a bit, hop back in a later. Hop back in a bit later. Sounds good, still small. I've tried Curse of Malice. I haven't tried that on Skeep yet either, Moveface. It's something that's been on my to-do list for quite some time. I just hadn't bothered to actually go and do it. So yeah, I gotta make inventory space here. Not actually gonna use that loot luck. Can get rid of that. Blizzard remakes are about as well received as their ethical practices. Yeah, I remember the Warcraft 3 remake was terrible. The Diablo 2 remake actually did do well, unfortunately, because that was at the same time as, like, I pre-ordered it way in advance, and then all the allegations about ActiveBliz came out, and I just felt slimy. And I still only have, like, 10 hours in Diablo 2 Resurrected, because I just can't bring myself to play it. Which sucks, because Diablo 2 is my childhood. Didn't they do StarCraft and StarCraft 2 remakes? Or they might not have done StarCraft 2. But they did a StarCraft one, right? Didn't that bomb? I know the Warcraft 3 one was pretty notoriously bad. They did StarCraft 1? Equip that. Do I have a Frostburn, like, available? No, I'll have to make room for that. Alright, give me a minute. I'm doing some wizardry. RuneScape's still going strong. How old's RuneScape nowadays? It's almost as old as Classic WoW, right? Or are they like the same age? Because Classic WoW is 18. Wow, I'm old. I was okay first playthrough. I went back earlier this year for second playthrough. Couldn't get into it. I love Star Wars. I enjoyed the couple playthroughs I did of Fallen Order. I played through it once on like normal and then once on the hardest difficulty. And I just enjoyed it. But yeah, I understand it might not be for everyone. So I want melee. Crit chance. Splash damage. Going for the last slot. All damage, I guess. Planning any scary streams? This is a scary stream. It's horror for the enemies. I don't know if it counts as scary, but I do want to do some more Back for Blood this month. I might do some Resident Evil streams at some point. I like the RE games a lot. I grew up playing those. Oh yeah, I want a Frostburn. And I'm running to the bathroom real quick. Be right back. Alright, I'm back. Dude looks fire. You look fire, Luke. How you doing? Back for Blood? Yeah, Rune, you want to play some Back for Blood tonight? If you're around. You showed Deathless Executioner. I don't have one set up currently, but I'll put it on my to-do list. I do want to do some more Deathless stuff. Back for Blood was tense, but not scary, really. Yeah, it can be very tense, on the higher difficulties especially. But it's not really scary. The new content's really fun, Lazy. I've been having a good time with it. Be around? Sounds good. I've been having a good time with it. It's quite good. What was the other thing I was doing? Oh yeah, oh yeah. This one? Might join up potentially if there's a slot. There'll be a slot. There'll be a slot. We'll do that. Live long and perspire. That's the goal, isn't it? Pretty heckin' poggers. Life's good for me right now. Hope everyone else grows and prospers. Hey, I appreciate the good vibes, Luke. And I'm glad things are going well for you. Last time we spoke, they weren't. I'm really glad to hear it turned around. So we got that. Got this. So, like, this is already enough crit chance. Like, without awe, we break 100% crit chance now. So what do we do with that information? I guess I don't need as much crit chance over here. I guess I could go to a 19% pickaxe, maybe? Let's see how much I have in actual gameplay.
Go on, Fate Maker.
Or like expire. That's the eventual goal.
Finally!
100% agree with you there, Gemboy. 100% agree. Yeah, 112 right now. So I guess I could put on the 19 pickaxe, get a little more crit damage out of that. Still over 100. It's a good place to be. So I get 10% more crit damage out of that swap.
A little life now. A lot of color.
And another good thing about this Brutal Stampede crit is, it is also applying to the dots. Got the Perspire thing down halfway there. Oh, the dot was still on? Oh, that's pretty spicy. Berg's getting me down, living situations getting me down, both have changed. Love to hear you making positive moves, Luke, truly. And hey, thanks for the tier 1, for the 18 months, year and a half of support.
She's just a girl and she's on fire. There you go, Quack.
Formal welcome back, enjoy all the emotes and
Pog
stuff.
you.
Pog you to you as well. But big props to you for, you know, you're stressed about your situation, so you changed it.
Like an outlet. Give me something to cast at this.
I'm gonna apply Brutal Stampede Frostburn to way too many builds, aren't I?
Welcome to the family.
Hey, Brain Farts, how you doing? So, category-wise, where does this fall? Is that conditional, or is it on swing? On swing, right? Or is it just regular melee damage? Okay, no, it's on swing. It's on swing. Means I could go for, Boss Badass instead of Consec on my pickaxe. What else does this mean? I could go for a Caustic Warrior Twin Soul. But I like the spell cooldown from this if I'm using Frostburn. So I think I'd stick with that. Using a triple roll Thumbcuffs would let me use an 18-150, I think, for pickaxe. Instead of a 19-140. That'd work out to more damage, but more unreasonable gear. Hey, Savage Horizon, thank you so much for the Prime. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the emotes, ad-free viewing. Sub badge, all the other fun stuff, faster channel point acquisition. Thank you so much. Hope you're enjoying the stream today. Played Wilhelm before? I've not actually played Wilhelm, no. I think Brutal Stampede is just like the armor.
Just a girl and she's on fire. Here you go, Quack.
So it's life goals.
Missed. Suppose another advantage of this is does make the stab-o-matic even better. Stampede's so brutal. Hey Matthew, how you doing? Definitely has been a reluctant thing to try. It's hard to farm barbarians, so that's why Stone and I didn't want to use it. I think there's enough armors like that rune that you can build around that it's like justifiable. Like, Mosquito is not as strong as Brutal Stampede with this build. Like, a perfect Mosquito is weaker than a perfect Stampede for this. So, like, you have multiple armor options for being really powerful in your armor slot, and that's without considering the Tyrant's Truth would just be good, Claw would just be good, Miasmic Mail would just be good, Amnesia if you can build for it. Like, I think there's enough choices, and I think it's reasonable enough to get specific gear that it's, like, it's a little more justifiable. And, like, I'm not even using the Thrall's Hydra Stampede. Like, this is just an all one. I think Wilhelm was the original shoot while sprinting character. Love that. Was he? Huh. Yeah, Craft Knight. All the TPS Vault Hunters are very mechanically, just well fleshed out. I like them a lot. Even the ones that I don't like to play. Like, I don't like how Claptrap plays, but I can appreciate the design of the character. That was a good Solicico. Is Stampede crit damage like Shrine crit? I don't know offhand. Exclamation point damage. Let me look as well, because I'm curious. Let's see. No, Brutal Stampede is just regular crit damage. So additive with strength and other, you know, standard crit stuff. But you get such a large quantity that it's good. It's more potentially than smart armor, but with no downside. And you get a whole second stat too. So any situation where like you would think, hey, smart armor would be good here, Stampede's just better. Even if you only have one companion, it's just better. Because no downside, same upside with an extra upside on top of it. Like, And then that's before factoring in that you could run spells that just give you 3 companions per button press. Like this Frostburn is 3 companions on a base 13.9 second cooldown. As a Clawbringer, I always have 1, so I can bring myself up to 7. It's a lot of stats. I think because it gives on swing for melee and on shot for gun, Stampede might just be like the armor for both melee and gun builds, assuming you're willing to restructure your class setup and or spell slot around it. For spell builds, I suppose it's a little more contentious, but like you can still grab, say, crit damage, spell damage, and then just be a dead shot with Capstone, pew-pewing with laser hands. It'll be great there. I was about to say, maybe it's not as good for dot builds, but, like, the on-shot gun damage is also going to help dots, if you're applying that way. Like, through guns. I think Stampede might have, stepped into this space where it's like, you know, for a long time, people were like, oh, Warp Paradigm this, Warp Paradigm that. Then for a while, it was that with Mosquito. I think Stampede's there, it's just people don't have them, and they aren't building around it. So it's not as known. And it's one of those things, even if they were to address it giving the unconventional forms of both melee and gun damage, it would still be desirable for it giving the crit stats. Like, it gives regular crit damage and regular crit chance, but in large quantities. There's only 2 armors that give you crit chance. And that's Mosquito, or not Mosquito, that's Diamond Gauntlets and Brutal Stampede. Diamond Gauntlets is a big number, doesn't require companions, but does require you to be still. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud a lot. I hope it's useful information. So I think provided you can have... Let's be conservative with our estimate. Provided you can have at least 2 companions. As long as you have a decent amount of global damage, Stampede just wins. Confuse Amnesia noises. Amnesia has downsides, which I think is a credit to its design. I think it's well designed. And for a lot of builds, I'm still gonna consider that like optimal, because it gives movement speed, it gives huge amounts of global. But like, let's say you're like on the other Stabmatic build. Let's say you have a lot of Thralls stacks. Well, the global from Amnesia is less worth. Let's say you're a build like this, where you don't have the healing to offset the amount the Amnesia is going to hurt you. It's not going to be as good. So I don't think it devalues Amnesia. I think it's just for a different subset of builds. Confused 20k HP noises. Well, Frost Shiver stuff, yeah, you'll be fine. But look at this one. I see your 20k and I raise you 3,500. Standing Still sucks. This message brought to you by Zane Mains. No, Standing Still is great. This message brought to you by Flack Mains. Mixed messages. I played with less. You have. But you see, here's the difference between you and me. You pay attention while you're playing. I don't. Where does Tyrant's Truth fit in? So Tyrant's Truth is different in that it requires a class feat companion specifically, and it also denies you that companion. So you have to be either a Clawbringer, a Spore Warden, or a Graveborn to benefit from Tyrant's Truth at all. And the more of those three you are, the better. But in terms of combining in terms of doing multi-classes among those three, you don't have a lot of reason to do that because you lose out on formula elsewhere. You get 35% per companion you lose from Tyrant's Truth. Which is still good, because that's 35% on swing melee. That's very desirable. That's 3.5 stacks of Consec, if you're trying to wrap your head around how much that is. That's 3.5 stacks of Consec enchant always on for Tyrant's Truth. But you lose the Wyvern. Now, losing Wyvern isn't as big a deal now that Awe is just free to keep up. And you're not wearing a Claw armor to care about it debuffing, so it's fine. That's justifiable. For Clawbringer builds, I think Tyrant's Truth is great. For Spore Warden, it gets interesting, because the Pet Revive is really impactful on Spore. And if you turn off your Mushroom, there's entire skills that no longer have value. The Mushroom Revive, the Mushroom Cloud, both become pointless investments. So it's kind of a question mark there. With Graveborn, Dread Covenant no longer becomes valuable. And with Graveborn, you're doing Faithful Thralls, so you do lose a full stack of Thralls. Not the biggest deal, depending on what you get on your armor, but it is relevant. You also lose the effect of Punishment if you were using that for any purposes. The value is questionable on Grave and Spore, Tyrant's Truth. On Clawbringer, I think it's pretty clearly valued. Provided you get the right roll. But the gun damage from Tyrant's Truth, I believe, is just regular gun damage. The spell damage is the Lich's Augur type, so the spell damage is very good. And the melee is on swing. Sacrifices must be made for no cute dragon. I'll take Trust in Magic, sure. I make good choices. See, it's value, because I raised my effective HP from about 3,600 to about 2,200. I raised it. It went up to a lower number. Bye, Banshee. I see. Hey, Slushy, how you doing? Been a minute, hope you're well. Been good, hope the same for you. Been better, but I've also been worse. So that is a, That is a place to be. But I'm enjoying Wonderland, so there's that. Stream's been going well, as long as my connection cooperates, and I got lots of good games I'm enjoying at the moment. So I can't complain too much. Like Wilhelm, because he incentivizes you to actually use the super fast recharge of purple shields. And I love having to do that. I love when a character has core things that make you meaningfully geared differently, but not in as rudimentary a way as just like, oh, equip this weapon type. Hey, Manicky. Thank you for the 2 years.
Quag Chad Quag Collar Qua.
Quag Chad Quag Collar Qua to you as well. Thank you so much for the 2 years. You're really not gonna land, are you, Nightmare? I was waiting for it to come down, but it didn't. Finished cleaning 4 rooms of my house? Let's fucking go, Pup T. Why you gotta flex being a functional human being? No, I know you're not flexing. I'm proud of you. Great work. Is one of them 100% crit chance builds? Yes. We're actually trying out a new armor today. We're trying out Brutal Stampede. Because you can get 6.9, nice, percent chance, crit chance, overall crit chance, per companion. So we have 1 companion always around from our Wyvern, and unless it dies. Then we can get 3 more per activation of our Frostburn spell. So we can have up to 7 stacks of that, which is almost 49%. But we can have that on top of the crit chance passive we roll in the armor. Then we got our Stabo class power. We've got crit chance on this ring. We've got 3 points in awe from our armor. So yeah, we can hang out at over 100% crit chance. Now previously we were doing this without the Brutal Stampede by using a higher base crit chance pickaxe. A 21% pickaxe allows you to hit 100% crit pretty comfortably. But going down to a 19% lets us get 10% more crit damage. And I think there's room to re-gear further and go for another crit passive on ring instead of this crit damage. And that would allow me to go for an 18% pickaxe and a 150% crit damage roll. So there's even more room to work with. Spell enchant applies to Stabmatic? Yes. As long as you don't consume it with a melee attack, yes.
I did you a favor, trust me. Picking up what you're down, huh? Steady fools, I say, go!
So a bit more to do tomorrow. I don't think anybody else would have done it if not me. Still, you did it. Hey, give yourself credit. You did it. Goodbye, LeChance.
Like an outlet.
Oof. I'm alive. I'm alive. It's fine. A similar thing with Frost River last night. Spicy. Needless to say, everything died. Yeah, this Brutal Stampede Frostburn tech is something I need to apply to more builds, I think. This Lethal Catch is certainly trying. It's Ascended. Cooldown Sniper mag size is good. Melee crit damage a bit of a miss, but can forgive it. Name should be a little one-shot. Listen, he's a solid guy. It's not his fault we bully him. Cleaning living space is important self-care. It is, J-Bridge. I need to be better about that myself. I got some laundry I could stand to do. Sometimes I'll take off a hoodie and then I'll just, like, throw it. And then I'll remember I did it when I see a cat using it as a bed. And I'm like, oh, that's gonna have so much cat hair on it. Then I leave it there for a while. There's 3 separate instances of that kind of hoodie situation. No, sorry, 2. 2 because it's a pile of 3 hoodies and 2 hoodies. So 5 hoodies, but they're consolidated. Good planning on my part. Cat hair is just part of my look at this point. Relatable. How you doing? Doing well, TSG. How are you? There's another Stampede. Claw Blight. Like, this makes me think Blight Knight Pog Totem stuff. Because there's that Warden chant, you get 30% crit chance for each totem you have out. So, you could get a lot of benefits. If you're doing Blight Geist, you'd be getting thralls for each of those totems as well. Blight Geist totem to enable damage from elsewhere, maybe? Companion damage, companion crit chance on this is, like, solid. Or I got a bit of everything. Yeah, it's trying to do a lot. Can't think of a reason to pick it up right now, but I'll definitely think about it. Oh, shotgun part of the phaser deals assault rifle damage or shotgun damage. Also, does it deal splash? I believe it's still AR damage. I don't remember if it's splash. I think it's splash. Rune knows that. Rune, you still here? But it's still assault rifle damage. I know that much.
Ready to burn it all down?
Should be splash. Thank you. I have an Undead Pact with that enchant. I really wish Undead Pacts, along with a bunch of other, you know, damage-focused swords, was better.
Even without a wand? That's too good for you. It's my job. Of course.
So the damage is... it's definitely here. Oh, I was only barely looking. You're fine. It was only a couple shots off. Hey, Sounds How you doing?
Even without a war, at the end of the blood, boy. Right, let's get it started.
Ah, sneezes.
Pufferfish don't know what they're up to.
Wondering if Stampede might also be the play for, like, Bereaver, Reaper of Bones stuff. Because you can just spam Frostburns for Sanguine Sacrament and Companions pretty effectively. And it would help shore up your damage formula not being great as a Bereaver. That would mean not doing Amnesia. Should be an interesting choice.
I did my best, but so Newsflash! What? Welcome. Get off with you then. Finally! You fight like a dairy farmer. Brother, you pulling at it? Patience is not a virtue. It just sucks. Even without a wand, my foot is still deadly under the blood, boy.
Yeah, if I went, gun damage on the Stampede instead of the melee damage here, I'd be boosting on my Stavomatic while still giving myself the crit chance, but I think I'm happy with just not doing that. Trying to make Blight Claw work and ideas. Thinking. Blight Claw gun build would be decent. Or things that probably shouldn't work. Briefly mess around with that Blood of the Fallen, Dreadwind stuff. There's still more things I want to do in that sort of arena. I was also trying out Twin Soul on Ghostblade. And I had surprisingly positive results there. My whole life. Damn, Rune. You okay?
Wipe your shoes off and
Something I thought about doing today, but I didn't end up getting to it, was ammo regen, circuitous gyre stuff.
take storm.
I also still want to do that Deathless Reaper of Bones meme.
On fire. You go back.
Hey, Pragmatic, thank you for the 10 months.
Howdy.
Howdy, howdy. Thank you so much for the 10 months.
For the hug, Death. Let's do it
Twin Soul seems to be able to do it all. Yeah, yeah. It's got a decent crit spread. The base damage can break 1k at Ascended, which is, you know, enough for Xe Blade value and stuff. It can have that 1.94 attack speed, which makes it desirable for Ghostblade, and the 2 hilt mods give it some really good flexibility, which is the entire point of the item, but it's also flexible in every other area, because it can roll every element as well. I was thinking about what hilt mods would be most desirable on Ghostblade. It'd be some combination of Caustic Warrior and Ancient.
Try that again, and we'll... No, wait, not.
Good, because I'm watching TBJ Crab. Yes, I'll be a crab for Halloween.
This is more than you deserve.
Oh, also, I've been enjoying the 1 melee ring, 1 demon blight split. CBJ Craig, it is Craig. I've been enjoying the 1 demon blight split because you can get the duration here for Alchemical Agent. That's really nice. Because then with a lot of boss phases, you just phase the boss and the dot's still there. I think with the Stampede tech, it's possible. If I went 6 Awe instead of 3, I could do 2 Demon Blights. If I ran with the crit enchant here, I think I could still get away with doing 2 Demon Blights. So, like, this is also without... I don't think I have max dexterity. I might. No, I have the remainder in dexterity. I could swap it up and sacrifice some wisdom if need be. And come out with a net positive for status damage. How you doing, Boom? Boom, we're doing companion tech and, like, non-companion builds. Frostburn, Brutal Stampede is infecting other builds.
I'm not dying today, unfortunately. What's the weather, hero? All fired up, are we?
I never did get that Brimming Spirit Rune I want. Maybe we hit Ward Bunny this run. Because I want a double Brimming Spirit Rune for this build. For the Maker. Pretty good status numbers. We could make them higher. That's what I've been thinking about. Like swapping out this ring. If I make the changes I was talking about. Like if I go... I could get 30% crit chance here to make up for losing the... Let's do quick math. So I have 78% crit chance from this ring. I could get back 30 from taking that. And then I could get... Dex is what, 2% per point? I get 7 more, so I get 14% more there. So I could get 44% of that back. Now losing that amount means I'm still not at 100 unless I start taking more Awe, which would mean losing Xe Blade. Awe is 13% crit chance per point. So going 5 gets me to... Going 6 gets me to roughly what I'm at now. I would get more Shrine crit damage that way. So my damage would be higher. I would lose Xe Blade, though. Or with using something like Assault and Battery. The thing with using Assault and Battery is... Do I have it on me? I don't. The base crit chance is 0 on the card for that. So it'd be going off my base of 5. Meaning my ability to get to 100% crit chance here, it's only going to take the Assault and Battery to, like, you know, like 20. If that. Now, there's of course the case for, on the Maker, just switching to From the Shadows and Salt and Battery, a Shock Salt and Battery, and deleting her that way. I think that's gonna be just the fastest way to kill the Maker on most builds. And I am an appropriate multi-class to do that. Game needs more dragons and also age and also the number 2. I like those things. How you doing, Carter? Plan for next Dragon Age stream is Friday. Unless plans change. I got a lot of games to juggle right now. Closest we're getting is talking about the Maker. Real. I may not have played 12 hours of Origins last night. Beautiful. How far did you get? I didn't have my cursed wit up for my hammer throw. That is why she's not dead. Finished Mage Tower Redcliffe stuff, got the urn, did all the DLC. Productive. Recently tried Thrall's Frostburn for strike stuff. My projectiles are getting blocked quite regularly. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Kill the dragon at level 12 on Nightmare, you know how it is. Arcane Warrior kind of broken. Absolutely OP. You know that Shimmering Shield used to be, like, way more busted and they nerfed it? Like, it used to be stronger. That's post-nerf Arcane Warrior. It's insane. Here's the awkward bit. I don't have any healing. Because I don't have a healing passive on my new armor. So the way I have to kill Bunny is by killing it. I can't survive that phase. Game has definitely made me unlock specializations each time. It's not supposed to do that. Because otherwise, how else would you have Blood Mage in any reasonable capacity before the alternate way that unlocks it Awakening? You're supposed to just... it's permanent. You have them.
Another soul cull.
Was that a 10 mil I saw? Nice.
Time to put someone in a Things were heating up.
Decent dots.
Life, 0.
No, don't hit me, don't hit me, don't hit me. Think that's enough dots? No?
Was so awful.
That should be enough.
Let's go wreak some havoc.
So I don't have that salt and battery. I should go get it. I could probably make it work with a snake stick. See how this works out.
It's on, sugar bug. Finally.
Nah, salt and battery is just too cracked. Not even comparable. good to know. Snake's dick? Yes, Wisp. Snake's dick. The penis of a serpent.
Don't touch it! More death wishes, Grant.
Ow. Ow. Poor decision making. I think the best looking armor in this game, including purples, different combos can be named. I don't know. I never really thought about it that much.
Another chance at life. Defeating him, I mean. I'm sorry, that is a critical hit! Super empowered spell. Give me something cast at this instant. All around the stack is flat. I've got the red. Something else.
We'll hit Ward Bunny and Melee Bunny. I think a Stabble Claw right now. Try the build, looks like a lot of fun. Ooh. Double Brimming Spirit Rune is like the Maker Shield unless you've got Glass Cannon. Yeah, yeah. Which rings do you use? Currently 1 Demon Blight and 1, this happens to be a Thumb Cuffs. Just melee damage ring with melee crit related stats. It's possible to go 2 Demon Blights if you get enough crit chance elsewhere, which is something I've been thinking about doing. But Demon Blight's really good because not only does the status effect damage help your alchemical agent, and then get double dipped by contagion, the duration lets your alchemical last a lot longer. And that's really good to have. Main reason we like Demon Blight here is the duration, even over the damage. That's an Ascended ×7 Stab-O-Matic. Higher damage than what I have. Same crit damage, higher damage. Huh. Guess we take those. Thanks for showing. Of course. Nothing Center Week Gossip. I've got better ones. I really need to do inventory management. I've been saying that for literal months now, but I need to do inventory management. Here, that old Stab-O-Matic, I can sell that. I know I didn't change the enchant over yet, but oh well. Also, is this the one that's floating? Yeah, so someone yesterday asked me about, you know, is my Stab-O-Matic floating? It just can roll like that. Because this is one that I just got as a drop, picked it off the ground. If you wanted verification of that. But if you look here. Just floating. This is not the first Hyperion/Hyperius gun that's done that. There's an SMG part combo that can roll without a visible barrel at all in this game. A Guardian Angel and other Hyperion shotguns in BL3 could roll in combos that look like this. It just kind of happens. Very weird. Hey, loading screen, how you doing? Needs to be a button that causes the floor to suck up all the loot. I wouldn't mind that. Would definitely not mind that at all. At least as of the most recent patch, we spend less time doing this looking at loot dance. Because we spend less time hitting the bunnies, and more of the loot is valuable as a whole. So, like, you don't have backpack space. It's better, but it could stand to be a lot different. Except for the progress, not because it's where I want it to be. Good, you? Enjoying theory crafting today. Oh, this is one of the weird looking ones. Look at it from the back. It looks so naked. It looks so naked. Like... It just looks naked. This is a weird looking Stab-O-Matic. Where is my double brimming spirit rune? I want it. Iron sights? Yeah. It's iron sights, has no stock. And it's not even connected to its barrel. It's just got a lot of stuff going on. Can play Doom on the ammo screen. Imagine you hook up Netflix to that ammo screen, watch the Borderlands movie while playing Wonderlands. That'd be cool. Borderlands movie gonna be Netflix? I have no idea. I don't think so, but I have no idea. Straight to VHS. I'd buy it. Straight to hotel room HBO. Pounder got a burst out of amnesia for a Majority that has melee damage, area damage, no old ways, beggars can't be choosers. Oh, still really good. Still really good. That just means you hopefully got a lot of points in Iron Squall. hopefully. Ooh, maybe Caustic Echo for Twin Soul for this. Please spread your loot a little bit more. It's something that I don't think they're gonna be able to realistically change without a lot of, money at this point. But if the bunnies had been in a circle facing outwards instead of shooting the loot inwards, it would have been more spread out. But, oh well. Lessons to learn for next time. In a perfect world, I'd be picking up all of this and selling it, because money's very important. But I don't do inventory management, so I don't have the backpack space to do that. I think 2 Iron Skull, 3 Instable Skull, could be the other way around, though. As long as you, so like, you'll have at least 2 in Iron Squall, because the Stabbo skill is only a 3-pointer, and if you don't have the old ways, then the points gotta go somewhere. So it's one of those class combos that it's impossible to get a completely bad one. So, it works out. Don't mind me. We'll go with that. And pop over here. Okay, that should be correct. Gotta go take care. Have a good one, Boo. Thanks for hanging out. Case Explain Wonderlands, Viewers and chat had to convince him body room was good. It's one of those things that, you know, it takes looking beyond the surface level. You need to think about why getting a bonus element and an on-kill effect for healing is good in the context of what else you could get in that slot and what problems you're having with your gameplay. Build doc work happening on stream. The build testing today has been going towards that. Every time you've been seeing me mess around with, like, melee and things in that sphere has all been gathering information for resources I am either working on or have planned. I said from the beginning, build doc stuff wouldn't be fast, but it has been ongoing. There's a lot more moving parts to worry about than the BL3 version. Don't need that. So we got that now, which makes me want to do another run. You roll my Stab-O-Matic to the correct enchant, hopefully. This is not a bad one to be on if I can't get Spellcast Melee. Oh well. Info for every class combo, just some of the better ones. It's not gonna be a, hey, this is the doc for this class thing. No, no. It's gonna be by build. Okay, and then here I have this. That'll be for Maker. Cool.
Think you can make it?
Hey, Bizarre. Jump back on Wonderlands. Happy to see a build still trucking along through the chaos levels. Love to hear it. Love to hear that. Real love your work on the Flak Doc. Thank you. Respite still amazing, Vengeance still down to make the splash is humongous. True. Like body run's harder to physically see the benefit of unless you're looking for it. Exactly that, Pragmatic. It's, as I said before, surface level stuff is tangible. So like, if a shield gives you, say, let's use Borderlands 3 examples, because people are more likely to be familiar with that stuff. Let's say you have Old God versus Revolter. Now, there are some situations where Old God turns out to be more beneficial, but for the most part, you know, you can look at Revolter and be like, well, it gives all of these benefits versus Old God make damage stat go higher. It's clear cut in that instance because Revolter has a huge number attached to it. But if we look at something like this game, you could have a shield that gives, let's say, 30% fire rate versus a shield that gives you a 20% bonus element on kill. To someone who isn't super well versed in mechanics or the game itself, well, big number is going to sound better. or big number that applies under a seemingly easier condition is going to seem better. Hey, son. How you doing? The Sabomatic's so weird looking.
Thing was so awful. How's that for you, you goat maggot? Like a dairy farmer. Till death and then died. Oh, that's grand. Excuse me, we would have one of these, you think? Get off of you then.
Seen the Megan trailer? If not, you should. It's absolutely terrible. Already got us tickets and go after getting the piercing to solidify the night. Sounds good. I've not seen the trailer. Should I be scared?
Don't be coming back as one of those skeletons. Oh, what?
Hardly ever notice bonus elements in gameplay because there's so much going on the screen. I'll remember my barbarian is bonus frost because I occasionally get frost storms. Yeah. Wonderland seems to require a little bit more mastery. There's fewer things like mayhem scaling just carry you through. Well, yes and no. It's situational because like nearly naked builds in Wonderlands are better than they were in Borderlands. Like you can take Deadshot with laser hands and unequip everything and clear. To a degree that doing a similar thing in another game might not have done. So it's still context dependent. I think the core thing is that enemies participate more in Wonderlands. Whether that's by moving more, having more mechanics, doing more damage, enemies participate more. So, Body Rune providing both damage and survivability is a factor because enemies can kill you. Whereas, in, say, Borderlands, not only do enemies not do damage, but there's also lifesteal. Very easily accessible lifesteal. So you're never in danger of actually dying. Unless a mechanic wills it, like a scripted kill, or a cliff, or a non-combat based mechanic like crystals and Guardian Takedown. So it's that Wonderlands fundamentally demands more of an active role from the player. You do more in this game. There's more you need to be responsible for. Spell using? I'm using a Frostburn right now. It is the only sigil spell that can roll multiple charges. It is a unique, it's a quest reward. And it is a combination of a Vigilant and a Rebuking Sigil. So it spawns 3 Hydras with it, which is why we want it. But it also has a cool little singularity. It pulls enemies in. We can pop down 2 of those. And those plus our Wyvern means we'll have 7 companions. And our Brutal Stampede armor gives us bonuses for each companion we have. So we get 7 stacks that way. And Frostburn is a pretty short cooldown. Especially for a multi-charge. 2 charges for 14-second base is quite good.
What's a little damage between friends, huh?
Send a ×6 rain of arrows. Send a ×2 liquid cooling. My beloved. Combat design just better, I think, too, because the setting, like in Borderlands, you can have an enemy that melees an enemy with a gun. Wonderlands, you can wave of Cyclopses and land sharks that rush you, and skeletons at the back shooting you, and mushrooms do an AoE. Mobs mix better, yeah. That's true. Like, if you're fighting Malawan, for example, there's not much melee going on from enemies. Like, you have Hackhounds, and that's it. And if you're fighting creatures, not much range is going on, but we have good mixes in this because it can be multiple enemy types in the tile set. That's an interesting point. That was a good throw. 3 for 1 on that one. Higher mob density would be the icing on the cake to that, but it's really good. Yeah. In a lot of circumstances, I still maintain it's not necessarily the mob density, but the mob AI. Like, right now, it's a little sparse. But in situations where the enemies are around, but just not showing up. Like, the enemies are here right now, just none of them are coming towards me. More density wouldn't help this if they still acted like this. And sometimes it just do be like that. I didn't plan that, it just kind of worked out that way. Good example. True, I feel like this has been a thing in Lands AI the whole series to be surprisingly passive. Yeah, I feel like it's been the exception rather than the rule when they're not. Like, as much as I love Guardian Takedown, it's one of my favorite pieces of content, period. Fighting the Necrobugs. Next time you play or watch Guardian Takedown, just look how aggressive the creatures are. They barely do anything, they're mostly just pinatas. Like, they barely have attack patterns at all. Now, the Guardians are the ones that actually attack you. But the creatures themselves, they just don't do anything. Like, even when attacking you, they often just miss. You don't have to be doing anything, they just miss. Because they're just not aggressive. And that's just kind of a norm through a lot of enemy types in Lands games. And This is probably for good reason, because people complain whenever there's appropriately aggressive enemies. For example, you know how infamous rabbit enemies in BL2 are, simply because they're aggressive. They're far from the most dangerous enemies, they're just the most aggressive. Hey Sora, how you doing? Installed a 2TB hard disk, time for video game? Let's go. Get that, because in BL2, whenever you go into fight for life, enemies just run the other side of the map and you bleed out because the one dude you're gunning for is now a mile away. Exactly, exactly. The enemies just left. It's not that there weren't enough, it's that they decided not to engage you. Exactly, Bizarre. Good example. Getting BL2'd, we call it that. Still looking for the perfect threads. I want crit chance, spell charge, extra projectile on an ascended Threads of Fate. That's my goal. This is pretty good. 2 crit chance spell damage. Time to move notes on bonus elements, separate dock. Cool. It's good advice, Sora. Good looking out. Okay, I need to remember not to get greedy here. No, no, stop it, stop that, stop that, stop that. I had to run away long enough that my escape was off cooldown. Did that not work? Hello? Okay. Making it in late, don't with that me. You got a little time, Dex. We got a couple bosses.
That's too good for you. Time to put someone in a cast.
Oh, sucker, nice. Yeah. Yeah, the solution to make her on every melee build is just lightning, salt, and battery. Mildly frustrating, to be honest, but that is just the solution. Crab fact? I have a crab fact. Despite crabs' relatively small brain, they have the cognitive capacity for complex learning to be able to memorize mazes for weeks. So crabs are smarter than me. Beautiful. Sended Smithy's Ire. Spell charge. I don't think the crit chance and damage do anything for this. But, like, would that spell crit chance apply to other things you do that are damage source spell with that equipped? That are not governed by their own spell. So, like, if you reflected a projectile with a trick mirror, I'm pretty sure trick mirror projectiles are damage source spell. Would that get that crit chance? I don't know. Something to think about. Two extra charges on that. I don't mind it being the bastard, just other things came close. Hey, Felicia. Your timing is incredible. Does Smithies use its crit or your melee crit? Your melee crit. It would? Good to know, son. Good to know. Fuck. So, like, I gotta go to the bathroom, and it's my normal ending time. So, like, with that, thanks for hanging out, everyone. I did some useful build science today. The brutal stampede frostburn tech is probably going on a lot of builds. We've further confirmed that lightning salt and battery is just far and away the most useful thing against the maker. Been fiddling with crit chance stuff. I might try a version of hammer throw with 2 demon blights. Go even more all in on the dot stuff. Maybe, possibly. So we'll see how that goes. Tomorrow, probably more Wonderlands. I'll try to have more build stuff ready. And then Friday will be something else. Let me find somewhere for us to go. Twitch, I don't know what you changed to make the front page stuff actually autoplay. I hate it. Change it back. Let's see. Dame's doing Slime Rancher. Lazy's on Wonderlands. Pastor is on Wonderlands. Samwise is playing Overwatch 2. Tizzle's on Pyre. Let's go to Lazy. And before the maker solution on gun builds is also lightning salt and battery. On spell builds, it's with double knot, it's Dazzler, right? On melee builds, it's lightning salt and battery. On gun builds, isn't it just lightning sword explosion? But yeah, anyway, I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate it. And for all the support. Needed that today. Let's get some Quag Chads in for raid. But see you next time. Bye-bye.